after a long hiatus, I've decided to turn my attention back to this Beetle. My goal for the short term is to get the body back on the chassis. I've been storing the body outside and the chassis in here, and I would like to combine the two to basically cut in half the amount of storage space required to keep this thing. I'm still fairly optimistic about this project. Certain changes have happened in my life where I don't have as much free time as I used to have, as you can possibly see if anybody's been following by the reduced number of video uploads that I've done. And so there is a long list of things that need to take place before I can put the body back on the chassis. Even though it looks like a lot has been done, and a lot has been done, I still have several things that need to take place before that body can go on. I'll give you a quick little list. I've got a dry erase board over here with everything on it. So I'll run through the list really quick. The rear brake lines still need to be run. The pedal cluster needs to be restored and installed. The accelerator cable needs to be run. The clutch cable needs to be run. The shift rod and bushing needs to be installed. The heater cables and the heater cable tubes need to be cut off of the old floor pans and reinstalled and welded to the new floor pans. I won't be able to do that until the body's on, I think, just so I can get the positioning right. The emergency brake needs to be installed. Battery hold down. I have to install new shocks. I have to figure out a way to make these factory dust shields work with an aftermarket disc brake system. I have to mount the engine. I have to install the swing arm boots. I have to put in some gear oil and install the sway bar in the front here. After all that, then the chassis will be pretty much complete and ready to receive the body. And then once I can put the body on the chassis, I will be able to start doing some of the major body work, like replacing the heater channels. Really, that's the main thing, is replacing the heater channels. I'll also be able to reference some of the mounting points for whenever I decide to do what I'm going to do with the front clip and the rear mounts, because like I said, this car was pretty much used as a bumper car at some point in its life, and then it's pretty banged up. And so I need to figure out what I'm going to do about straightening out the front and rear end of the vehicle, but I really can't do that until it is attached to its mounts. So anyway, consider that a very long introduction to this. I think today what I want to do is work on the brake lines and possibly get the shocks swapped out, so we'll see how far I get today. I don't have a whole lot of time, but that's what I plan on doing. So as you can see, the front brakes have already been done. A new master cylinder has been installed. I already bent up this brake line in order to get it through the front firewall and into position. I think it will work out pretty good where it's at right here. And then what I'm trying to do now is I'm running it through, I've already got it through the rear firewall, and it needs to go into this junction here, and it just seems to be a little too long, so I've got to put some fancy loop-de-doos and everything into this just to try to take up some of the slack. I'm going to also tilt this just a little bit towards the rear, because the brake line that goes from here to this bracket needs to go underneath this emergency brake cable tube right here. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. So this is the little tube that the heater control cable comes out of. This is one of the heater tubes, the heater control cable tubes. This isn't the one for the side, but just, oh, actually I have it right here. So that is going to go right here, like this. So this brake line needs to go up and over that and then go back into this clip. So as you can see over here, it's in a clip. So it's going to run, and then you see where the insulation is cut out. We're just going to go up and over and then back into this clip. So I need to put a little hump in this. I really do wish I had a tubing bender. Might make this a little bit easier. I'm gonna support it with this and then try to press it with this. Don't really want to use anything with a real sharp edge. It could cause problems. There we go. Okay, I'm pretty sure by the time we get right here, we are into the engine compartment, and so this is not going to rub on anything. Not positive, but I think we'll cross that bridge when we run to it. This stuff is pretty easy to bend, and I'm pretty confident that I can continue to work it without kinking it. Do need to do something right here. And all of this space is going to be underneath the rear seat, so none of that should matter either. Just trying to keep the brake line from popping loose. So I have a brake line grommets. I don't know how difficult they're going to be to install. They seem pretty tight. Oh, not too shabby. So obviously the brake line grommets just keep this line from rubbing through on the firewall or creating a rattling noise or anything like that. All right, I'm just going to go through and tidy up all these clips, make sure they're clipped at their max, so this brake line won't ever pop out. And I mean, once it's covered with the carpet, nothing's going to happen anyway. But that's way down the road. All right, well, getting those grommets in were pretty difficult. There's a nice, real tight fit on the front ones. The hole was bigger in the back, but they're in there. This brake line isn't going anywhere. Got the clips all clipped in real tight. Rear grommet, rear distribution block. Now I get to figure out how to get the brake lines to the wheel cylinders back here. The rear brakes after the distribution block consists of 4 hard lines and 2 soft lines. So first I'm going to run the short line that goes from the distribution block to this bracket here, and then there's a longer line that runs from the distribution block up and over the transmission and down to a bracket over here, and then we'll work from there. And then I think after I do this, I'm going to take the other hard lines and work from the wheel cylinders back, and then we'll figure out you know, how the soft lines are going to work. But the soft lines will fit through the bracket with a clip, and then the hard lines will go into the soft lines. All right, I guess that's backwards. I got to run the soft line first to give the hard line somewhere to attach to. So we just got to pop this guy in the bracket here, and then install one of the clips. That may have bent the clip a little bit, probably because I wasn't using the right tool for the job, but looks like it'll be fine. Next I have to run this teeny tiny little brake line from here to here. Alright, I think I've got it now. This might have been the hardest one to fit. I guess it makes sense. The shorter the line, the less room for error you really do have. And so I do distinctly remember that the brake line, the previous brake line, did make a hump over the emergency brake cable. I was just hoping I would have been able to fit it underneath just to tuck it away and make it a little cleaner. But at least in this configuration, the brake line is not coming into contact with any metal. It won't be able to accumulate any road grime or anything, and so it'll be less likely to rust out in this position. And again, if it interferes with any other part of the engine, I can always make an adjustment. It's easier to adjust when it's secured on both ends than it is to adjust free like I was doing. We're good now. This dang clip, I tell you, these clips are not, I guess it goes without saying, right? These aftermarket clips are just not as nice as the original ones. I do have a couple of original ones I think I'm going to replace because this sucker just bent when I was pushing down on it. Good waste of $5 there. I can't find it for now, so I'm just going to go ahead and put in another one of these brand new ones, aftermarket ones. Hopefully I'll be a little bit more gentle this time. There we go. Okay, so one thing I found interesting about this particular Beetle is that there is no place to mount this soft line. I'm not sure why. Some Beetles will have like a tab, just like the tab over here, mounted to the swing arm. This one has nothing. There are some clamp-on options, but this one didn't come with anything. And I honestly, when I was taking it apart, I don't remember what the setup was. So I'm going to temporarily mock up what I need to get from the wheel cylinder over to the soft line, and then I'm going to have to come up with something to elevate this soft line and get it off of the swing arm so it won't rub on the swing arm as it's going down the road. Um, I'll probably just end up fabricating something and possibly welding it directly to the tube. I guess we could get away with just letting it free float here because there's space, but again, I'd be more comfortable if there was a bracket here holding this, because I feel like it'll just fatigue things over time. Okay, I went ahead and did the other side off camera. I'm telling you, this little crossover piece was pretty interesting. That's kind of how I bent it up in order to keep it off the frame. So we have space underneath, all around. Keep it off the boots. Tag into the one tab that holds it right there. And then fit it into this spot here that goes where it goes into the soft line. And then we run around the soft line and have the little short piece that goes into the wheel cylinder. Again, I'm going to need to figure out a tab situation to hold this. I honestly think that the Beetle didn't have anything when I bought it, so they were probably just flapping around, but I'd feel more comfortable if that was secured in some way. Well, I think that does it for today for me. I didn't have much time to get a lot of work done. I would have liked to hop onto the shocks as well. Those are going to be fairly straightforward. I'm not too worried about that. But of course, as with all car projects, there's always surprises lurking around every corner. So I plan on recording that as well, the suspension stuff. So this is my first time bending brake lines. I did it in the front too, but really, I haven't tested anything yet. I haven't filled the master cylinder or bled the brakes or anything. I don't plan on doing that for a long time. If there's anything that you see that you would have done better, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. I can always use some good tips or tricks, especially you VW guys who seem to, have gone through this many times in the past, and so all the growing pains. I'm kind of just doing this, learning as I go, and, I'm having a good time doing it. I think it's turning out pretty decent. Okay, with that, I'm going to sign off. Once again, my name is Tom. This is Southpaw Workshop. This is the 1968 Beetle project. If you're interested in following along with this project, you can always hit that subscribe button and it'll notify you whenever a new video comes out. So with that, I'll sign off. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll catch you next time.